Welcome back everyone to the Hoplite Security channel. I'm Blue Dolphin and today I'm going to be walking you through the HackTheBox medium difficulty meta machine. Let's get into it. Welcome back everyone to the Hoplite Security channel. I'm Blue Dolphin and I'm going to be doing a quick summary of the amazing HackTheBox medium difficulty meta machine. Alright, starting with the summary. We're going to be dealing with subdomain discovery, finding the EXIF tool sitting on a service, exploit that. Internally, we're going to find the image magic tool with a vulnerability, exploit that, retrieve an SSH key, and then work with neofetch and an environment variable abuse for root. So what does this look like? Well, we enumerate and find two ports open, 22 and 88. Pretty narrow attack surface. So our initial foothold, we do some subdomain discovery, then we learn about the EXIF tool and exploit that by uploading a file with embedded reverse shell data as per the CVE. At this point, we're on the box as user www.data. So from here we learn about the convert images script. We learn that there is an exploit for this and we exploit this with the POC SVG exploitation. It's a CVE, and then we capture the SSH key for Thomas. From here, we connect in, we perform privilege escalation with sudo-l, we take advantage of neofetch and environment variable for command injection. Let's get into it. Jumping right into things here with phase one, we're going to be starting off with enumerating some ports, finding out we have a very narrow attack surface. From there, we're going to do some subdomain enumeration where we're going to learn about the dev01 subdomain, and then from there, we're going to identify the upload file function and the service that is responsible for that file upload function and what kind of happens there. So we're going to start off as usual with the nmap scan against our target 10.129.72.162. And as always, I like to run auto recon in the background just to help with picking up anything that I might miss along the way. We're also going to go ahead and browse over to the website while we wait for the nmap scan to finish. It looks like the nmap scan has indeed finished, and we just have two ports open. Usual suspects, SSH and HTTP. We try to browse to the website here, and interestingly enough, we get artcorp.htb and the page can't resolve. First thing that comes to mind is we want to add this host to Etsy hosts, so it resolves independently of a DNS. So we're going to do sudo nano Etsy hosts. Sorry, I just got a new keyboard here and it's killing me. Okay. 10.129.72.162, and we're going to enter artcorp.htb. It looks like that's the subdomain here that's resolving. We're going to refresh the web page. And you can see we have a very basic website here. We have 3 members, so we might want to keep these names in the back of our minds for later in the challenge if we need credentials for anything. We also want to note specifically kind of the roles here. So if there was a social engineering attack, for example, Thomas S is the PHP developer, so he might have credentials for a PHP application that's running, or the web designer, Sarah. Perhaps she's using Sarah to log into the admin web portal, and the CEO of the company, we could possibly think that the CEO is, I don't know, maybe we find an email on the target machine to someone and there's some information in there. But we don't see anything valuable on here. So what we'll do from here is we're going to move into some subdomain enumeration. We can do directory brute forcing, but I didn't find anything that was helpful. If you did, comment down below, let me know. I would really love to know about that. The way we're going to perform our subdomain enumeration is with ffuf, and we're going to type ffuf-wordlist user, and we're going to go for the security list, I think it is, which will also be under the shared location, and we're going to drop into the discovery and DNS files. And we'll start with the smaller of the options. We're going to do the 5,000 subdomain text. We don't want to do a million right off the hop here. And from here, I believe we're going to call our URL, which will be http artcorp.htb. And then whoops, I accidentally spelled the command wrong. I got it totally backwards. It's fuff with 2 F's. Okay, so I didn't define the fuzz word, so we have to add the fuzz word to the start of. Now, I'm seeing a lot of errors, so I think I have to actually add the host command so it knows to scan for a host. Okay, nothing's happening, so let's go ahead and look at ffuff help. And let's see, it's probably going to be the, okay, so H is for the header name, and we're looking for something for hosts here. Oh, I think what we have to do is approach it and call the hosts flag, or the header flag, and say host is 10.129.72.162. No, I think I'm doing something wrong here. Let's go. I see what I'm doing wrong. The URL is not where you're supposed to call the fuzz. This is just the URL. So I'm actually going to add host fuzz, and of course the host here, just like the flag. So just hosts.artcorp.htb. Let's try lowercase host. Nope, it's not liking that either. Let's this looks good. I think we might want to grep for status 200 because this is going to be, oh, it looks like it slowed down. Yeah, it's getting slow here. Let's actually go grep 200. And I'm just going to pause the video while this runs. It's still not working. I'm just taking a look at what else I could use here. And I have a feeling the grep option is working fine. So I'm looking at the -FW filter by amount of words in response. So we'll run this command again and we'll do FW1. And this will help us, I think, instead of the instead of the grep command. And I guess I'll just pause the video while this runs. Fingers crossed. Just on a side note, this isn't working, and I'm thinking I'll delete that. No, that didn't work. All right, I actually got it working. I don't know what happened, but I had to restart my machine and it worked. So there it is, dev01. That's going to be our subdomain. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Opening up our browser. We're going to browse to, I probably have to add it to Etsy hosts. So let's go sudo nano Etsy hosts. And I can either append the existing domain or have it as a separate entry, but I'll just append it for now. We'll refresh this page. And you can see we have the ArtCorp dev environment. Currently applications in development. That's wonderful. And it says only applications ready to be tested are listed. So obviously we're going to be finding a vulnerability in this application because it needs to be tested and it's in development. So we have MetaView, upload your image. So let's try uploading a file here. Jumping over to browse and looking at, let's just find, do I have some stuff in the downloads folder? Yeah, let's use a poo PNG, Pa from the Kung Fu Panda movie. Upload this. Did absolutely nothing. Okay, let's just try another file. We'll try hoplite. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. .jpg, we'll upload that. And it looks like we got a file type. So this is interesting. This kind of looks like a metadata viewer, which I guess would make sense because we're looking at MetaView. So some MetaView tools are going to be like EXIF, EXIF tool. What else would there be? Nothing. Those are really the only ones that I know. All right, let's just try like a Python script to see what happens. Okay, and it says a file not allowed. only JPEG or PNG. But what's interesting was our PNG didn't do anything, and the file we uploaded was not a JPEG, it was a JPG. And you know what? I wonder if there's a difference. JPEG versus JPEG. I actually have no idea. Okay, so it's the same. The only difference is that the JPEG has one extra letter. But because that's odd. Okay, well, we will just gonna pretend I never saw that. Let's upload then, I guess. I guess we kind of need to know what's running in the background. So let's do a quick inspection. Jump over to storage. Let me think here. Let's hit the net, or actually let's go straight to see what's. Oh, we can't see any of the scripts running. Let's go network traffic, see if we can get some network traffic out of this. Click the upload button. You can see it just calls nothing here that's going to help us scrape the data on the back end. So we do have an error on the page. Okay, we need to figure out what this MetaViewer is. Now, what I'm curious to do is to test exif tool on PNG. How about just exif? It doesn't contain exif data. Okay, so I think we're actually running exif, not exif tool. I think. Might not make sense. Let's try it on Hoplite. Alright, still doesn't work. So let's go ahead and look for some. Let's see what's out there. Let's look for CVE. Let me think. Exif CVE. Okay, we have a. Ooh, this looks good. An exif tool, RCE. So it looks like it's an improper. Yep, exif tool. So we kind of have to play the guessing game here just to figure out if we're running the right version here, because I can't think of a way we would determine what version we're running. But this seems like a not bad place to start. So I guess let's just start there. Let's find GitHub. Ah, yes, I love GitHub. Okay, so this is a Python exploit for the vulnerability in exif tool, if this is the right one. This is just kind of the first one we saw on Google. You know, if we were doing our OSCP, we might have to dig and try like 5 or 6 different exploits and troubleshoot them all. But this is not the OSCP. We're looking at the installed exif tool. Okay, so we'll go ahead and install this. Let's browse over to our location and install with sudo apt install. I can't pronounce that. If you can pronounce that, then good for you. Bin. Okay, how to run it. So what we want to do is have a listening port. That's pretty quick to jump into things here. I'll call this tab listen, and I'll go netcat tac nlvp. So no lookup, listen, verbose, port 6363. My favorite port. We'll jump over here, and what are we supposed to do? Oh, okay, let's clone this. Hope this works. We have not cloned it. Whoops. Sudo git clone. There we go. We'll jump into the target directory, and we're now going to, I guess, run just the exploit. I'd like to know a little more about what this does exactly before we run this exploit. So let's just take a look at this. Might be jumping the gun here, but this will just help to know a little more about what's going on. Just in case we do run into any errors or any issues, it's nice to kind of understand the expectations of an exploit or process. So recently researchers learned that remote code execution. Kate, wonderful. That was part of a GitLab bug bounty program. Very cool. You can see they posted it to Twitter. The vulnerability here, Deja Vu file format. Yep, we downloaded the Deja Vu onto our Linux machine. So the vulnerable function they're saying is, they've highlighted it at right above here. We're good unless, so you can see here they've put in nice comments. And they're saying the vulnerable code were lines 230 to 234. But I'm not sure because then down here they're showing not lines 230 or 234. Maybe that's not what they're intending to show. But they said the source code, you can see in the source code the vulnerable function. And this is due to improper sanitization, I guess. Here we go. So it says it's possible to see that the vulnerable version does a verification on line 31. So let's take a look. Talk, regex. What's that? 21 dev. So it removes the attributes that use the Perl variable or Perl arrays to have some security sanitization. This is done because this content is then used in an eval statement on line 9. Okay, that's great. I don't clearly see the eval statement, but I see data put. Oh, sorry, line 34 right here, eval. Okay. So not that I totally understand this, but what they're saying is that the vulnerable function, so line 31 is supposed to remove attributes from the it's supposed to remove the attributes that use Perl or objects that use Perl variables, and then that's executed at line 34 in the eval statement. So talk equals what we pass to it. So this is going to be user operated, I guess. And then down here, it's evaluating that. So let's take a look at actually what this exploit does. This is a very... Okay, taking a look. So we can see there's an IP and a port requirement here. So I guess we're going to have to fill that out. We can then see that there's base 64 encoding and decoding. And it looks like this is going to be a reverse shell. And it looks like the exploit is, so it's making a JPEG file. It's ultimately using exif tool and making a specific type of JPEG file. So I'm assuming it's passing the payload to the Perl variable, but the Perl, oh wait, let's see. To trigger the vulnerable function, okay, let's go back and finish reading this. We need to create a valid deja vu file. So we kind of see that happening here where the process is running djvu makes, what is that? djvu file, deja vu. I don't know why I'm saying it in such a weird way. Okay, the deja vu file is a compressed image file format developed by AT&T. Cool. Marketed by Lizard Tech. Never heard of them. Okay, well, I guess it's just file format for, so it allows content developers to scan high resolution color pages of books, magazines. Okay, cool. Looks like the payload will be executed by the eval function as Perl code. To create this valid file, we use deja, I don't know, I can't say that, deja vu make, and we can see that here they are calling exif tool, and we learn, and they're running it on the exploit, which does in fact say it is a deja vu file, because we need a deja vu file. Now, where is the code exactly in here? So the next goal is to put the malicious payload and execute it from a JPEG file. And we know that was possible by looking for other proof of concepts made by other researchers on Twitter. As we understand more about exif tool, we realize that we could use itself to explore the JPEG creation. So we need to create a configuration file that's passed to exif tool. And that, okay, so that's what we see here. So we see we have a payload, which is our base 64 encoded reverse shell. And then down here, we're using the binary deja vu make. And we're using our exploit. And we're passing a config file and having it rendered as an image.jpg. It's interesting that it's JPG, not JPEG, but that's fine. So it looks like this file makes it possible to write a new tag on the file with the name Hasselblad exif. And we see that here, config file Hasselblad exif. And it uses some hex to create an identity string in our new file. Then we insert it inside another file. So we're going to install this or insert this into image.jpg along with our exploit deja vu file. Interesting. So let's give this a shot then. Let's edit our exploit, change the IP address to our local IP address. 10.10.14.15. I'm going to do my favorite port, 6363. And then I guess that's going to be it. We're going to have our payload. The payload's encoded. It's then deja vu make, take our exploit and add that within an attribute within our, or have it running, and then use exif tool and add a config file and pass our exploit into the Hasselblad exif attribute and tag it into this file, or tag it to a config file so exif tool adds it to the JPEG. I think. I'm not sure if that's right, but please comment down below. I might be off track here. Let's save this. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, I don't have permissions. That's embarrassing. Sudo nano at exploit.py. Changing our IP address. And then just an interesting note, we can see they're importing base64 in sub process. So fairly a basic exploit. There we go. Now we'll go Python 3. I think we need a listener first, which we have. Exploit, and then what this should do, if I understand, is it's going to create, it did permissions denied. It's going to create a tool or a file called image.jpg. I really hope. It did, there it is. So now we'll run exif tool on image.jpg. And we can see, yes, it's a JPEG, but then it also, I think if I understand, should have that hassle deja vu version. That hassle attribute. I might not be understanding this exploit fully. Don't really see it. We can just run exif. I don't think, or I think we would have to call like a deja vu extension or something. I'm not too sure. That's okay. Let's just move forwards here and run the exploit. So we'll go sudo. Oh wait, sorry, I already ran the exploit. Now we need to upload it. And then it'll be improperly parsed with no sanitization, and that's where we're going to see our reverse shell. Jumping over here, we'll go image JPEG, upload. And there it is. We have access. So that was phase 1. I actually didn't intend to exploit this in phase 1, so it's supposed to be a part of phase 2. But that's fine. I just had a lot of fun and got carried away here. So I'll see everyone in phase 2 of this engagement. Welcome to phase 2 of this engagement, where we're going to be starting off with some internal enumeration using PSPy, and we're going to learn about the convert images _sh script. And we're going to go and look at that and learn that it's taking advantage of a binary called, I think, Mogrify, which is the image magic tool, which is a resizer. And what it's doing is it's resizing images and then outputting them somewhere. While we research this, we learn about a CVE that actually allows us to take an SVG image and insert code in there. So when it's processed by the magic image Mogrify binary thing, it executes the code. So let's just jump into it. I'm going to start off by jumping over to the temp folder. And, or I think perhaps we'll do dev shim. Let's just see what the permissions are on temp. It's probably the same as always. Yep. I think we'll use dev shim though for this one. And I'm going to get the pspy command so we can learn what's going on this machine. Which will be my tools folder here. And we're just going to do Python m simple server. Jumping back over to our shell as Thomas, or sorry, not as Thomas, as www data, we're going to do wget http. our local IP address 10.10.14.15. Over port as usual 8000. And we're going to do PS Pi 64. This works, this downloads, that's wonderful. Now we're going to run PS Pi 64. Permissions denied. Let's run gmod 777. Okay, so it's running now. I mean, whoa, you can see we just got a whole bunch of outputs. Let's see. So you can see our exif tool right here. That's pretty cool that we were running earlier, and that it's indeed running the exif tool on files under the uploads folder. That's pretty cool. I don't see anything else. Let's keep waiting to see what comes up here. I'll just pause the video. Don't need to tie everyone up while we wait. Grab a coffee, get an orange, have a snack. We saw several things interesting here. So we see the convertimages.sh script running, and then we see there's a cron job, a config neofetch. And if you don't know, neofetch is a way to look at your operating system details in just kind of a cool way, I believe. So we have two things to look at: convert images and the neofetch. So let's go ahead and recreate our connection to the box. I'm going to re-upload our shell. Looks like it did it for us. Wonderful. And let's do neofetch. Okay, well, it says some permissions are denied. I can't make a config file. Interesting. It just tells us about our host, about our computer. No big deal. More importantly, let's go ahead and look at that convert images business. We'll go user local bin. I mean, I guess I can just go, what's our working directory? We cannot be lazy. We can cat, actually, let's actually drop down to the root. And we'll cat this file. And catting the file shows us I did something wrong here and it doesn't exist. I spelt it wrong. Cat user local bin convert images.sh. There we go. So we can see that we're running. So we're changing directories to the var www subdomain convert images directory, and then we're running mogrify on a PNG file. So let's go ahead and learn about mogrify a little bit. So we can type in mogrify, and it says it is the image magic, right, for resizing images. So if you just look, it's a way to resize your image off the hop, just at a basic level. So that's very cool. Now we can go CVE, and we learned that there is a function that allows for a denial of service attack. Well, that's not going to be relevant here because we're not DDoSing anything. So we'll keep looking through here, and we see something that looks a little more relevant, and this is going to be image magic command injection. Thank you to the individual who did this blog. Let's take a look at this. This is apparently has a high risk. Okay, well that wasn't helpful. So let's research this. What was that? That was 29599. Sorry, 29599. Oh, 29599. 29599. Okay. This looks a little better. So we got some more information here. We'll take a quick look. And we'll learn that. Okay, so it mishandles a controlled password set for a PDF file to inject shell commands through coders-pfc. So that's great, but I'm going to need something a little more technical if we're going to be able to get anywhere with this. So I like this. I'm seeing GitHub. Always go to GitHub. So this individual is saying they discovered a vulnerability. Ooh, and it was assigned. Interesting. So I think this is when the original person discovered this vulnerability. And they're saying the user-controlled password is not sanitized, and therefore you can inject shell commands. And he created a blog post talking all about this. So obviously let's jump over there. This is very impressive. So let's take a look at what's going on. They are, okay, so there's the convert function. We see that in the SVG file right here. So the SVG parser does a convert. And there is a coder here that they're taking advantage of. Okay, entry point, HTML, let's see, password. Entry point is the unencrypted PDF. So it looks like they're saying, let's see, this is the exploitation phase. I see. So they're passing some malicious commands. It looks like they actually provide us with the SVG file here. The user said they created a polyglot file, an SVG file, which loads itself. Okay. So we need to get Mogrify to run on this file, and this file needs to be in the var www subdomain convert images folder. So let's do it. Let's make this locally. So we'll keep, that's our, so this is our shell, that's our listener. We'll do this from here. I'm just going to jump into our folder and do nano poc.svg. And let's see what's happening. So it's going to say echo ID. So it's just going to pass our command. And it's going to output this in a file. So let's make this something more predictable. And let's call it boom. And then let's, I hope that works. Let me actually move this. This shouldn't be in there. That's bad practice. And we'll run our listener out of, not there, but out of our HTTP meta HTTP file, python 3-mhttp server. Now what's going to happen is we're going to copy this SVG file over into the dev shim folder, and we're going to go wget http 10.10.14.15 over port 8000 as usual, poc.svg. And interesting. Oh, I don't think we're in the dev shim folder, so it's not going to work. Let's try that again now. Confirm our directory dev shim. Let's go wget http 10.10.14.15 over port 8000 poc.svg. And hopefully this works, and it worked. Wonderful. So now we're going to copy this to that location, which is going to be poc.svg. We should probably change permissions on it, I think. I'm not sure if that would cause problems here, so let's just copy it as is. Copy poc.svg to, what was it, var www dev 01.artcorp. Sounds like a fun place to go. Artcorp be a good place for field trip. .htb convert image or images. I think it was images. And I spelled convert wrong. It's the second time. Interesting. Okay, let's copy this file again. SVG to var www dev 01 dot, and I spelled art wrong. Boy, it's hard to talk and type in the mornings sometimes. Okay, let's review no, I spelled it wrong again. Oh, 3 strikes, you're out of here. Artcorp.htb convert images. Let's go. God bless. Okay, let's do a quick list to make sure it's actually there and I didn't send it somewhere else. And then if it is there, that cron job, I think, or no, it's not a cron job. Was it a cron job? Yeah, it was a cron. Well, I don't know if it was a cron job, but it was running regularly. The neofetch was the cron job actually, but we should see, there it is. So our file is there, and then the reoccurring task should run, and we should hopefully see in this boom folder not the boom folder, the dev shim folder, a file called boom with the output contents of the command ID. Let's wait and see what happens. All right, here it is. It's working. I did have to change the permissions on it, and then I noticed that, and then I just removed the dot in the file directory right before devshim boom. But you can see here, if we cat boom, we get user ID, which is awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cat the SSH flag. So let's see if I can get this on the first go around. We're going to first remove this file. Remove poc.svg. Remove boom. rm boom. Don't know what's going on. I think I'm just... Operation not permitted. Oh, because it's going to have the permissions of our escalated user Thomas, who's running the program. Brilliant. All right, let's edit our POC. This is going to be tricky. So let's do echo cat home Thomas dot ssh, his private key, and then I think that'll kind of be it. Home Thomas dot ssh, everything else stays the same. I guess let's change the name to ID underscore RSA. I guess if we can get this in the first shot, that'll be awesome. No promises. wget http, our local IP address, always port 8000, poc.svg. It copied. Let's change the permissions. We learned the hard way. Don't want to do that again. Kind of embarrassing. There we go. Now let's copy this, poc.svg, to var www dev01 artcorp.htb convert images. Let's go. Please work. Oh, I for sure spelled convert wrong, didn't? Oh my goodness, I did. Okay, let's copy svg. Let's type a little slower. Okay, there we go. And I'll get the T this time. I blame it on the keyboard. Okay, so we've successfully copied our file, and we're just going to wait. But let's do a quick ls to make sure indeed our file was indeed copied to the target location. It was. We can see POC SVG there. Now we're just going to wait for the ID or the private key to appear of Thomas. Okay, fast forwarded there, and there it is. We have our private key. So this is wonderful. Let's go ahead and copy this private key, and then if everything goes well, that'll conclude this phase. All right, we take this SSH key, jump over to our local machine with much excitement, and we'll go nano RSA. We'll punch this in, and this is one long line, so that's not going to work. Let's do VI. I guess we could probably do Vim for syntax highlighting instead of just VI. And we will paste this in. Let's jump into insert mode and just clean this up, fix it a bit. Something seems off here. Anyways, we're in insert mode. I don't think this will work, but let's just change this key up. No, something seems wrong. I'm not sure this is going to work. But let's find out. No harm trying. So we'll go SSH dash ID. Oh, we have to change our permissions. Gmod, of course, 600 and ID RSA. Now we'll do SSH dash I private key Thomas at our target 10.129.72.162. And I don't think this is going to work. The SSH key doesn't look, yeah, it says invalid format. That makes sense. I'm just curious if we remove this key and try VI, ID RSA. Okay, so it's not right. Okay, something's not right here. It's like it didn't copy properly. Super weird. I just adjusted my screen resolution and catted it, and it gave me not that weird stuff. So let's copy this again and just, yeah, let's go to this. Let's remove the ID RSA and then let's just vim another one. There we go. Easy peasy. Now we can clean this up a bit. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, okay. So then I kind of think the issue here, I see. So if we, yeah, okay. So if we write to this file and then cat it, we can see it has this weird, it's basically like the resolution of my window there, which kind of makes sense. So let's actually edit this just like it is right now to keep it simple. Pop into insert mode, drop the header and tail, clean it up. Let me think, get out of insert mode and save, cat this. And then, yes, so this should work. Oh, I hope so. It's gonna be kind of awkward if it doesn't. Bad permissions. Oh, I'm so glad that's the issue. All right, let's change permissions, 600. Make sure it worked. It worked, just read write. And drum roll, there we go. We are in as user Thomas. That concludes the user phase, which is supposed to be phase 3. I kind of got all the phases confused, which I deeply apologize. I know I prefaced this was phase 2, but anyways, that concludes this phase. I'll see everyone in the next phase, which will be phase, I don't even know now, 3 or 4. Oh, I've totally confused myself. All right, welcome back everyone, and we're jumping into what I'm deciding is phase 4, which is the root phase. And a quick summary. So from a high level, we're going to start off by learning about the run as sudo neofetch program, which we did see earlier. And then a little research is going to show that it does appear on GTFO bins, but nothing there is immediately helpful. So we're also going to notice that there's this weird environment variable that, because it's persistent, we can actually call it and use it to write executable commands into the config file called by neofetch, which is running as root, which we saw earlier. So the way that this is going to happen is we're going to do sudo -l. And you can see here two things. We have the environment keep xdg config home. So if you're looking at this thinking, what on earth is that? You could pop it into Google and you'll find a little bit of information here about this, but not a whole lot. Let's see here. Someone is literally asking how to get the xdg config home variable with sudo. We see some Linux privilege in, oh, that's just, never mind. Let's take a look at superuser.com, and people are talking about declaring it as an environment variable. And they're saying you can use this variable and pop it into a config file. So I wonder what this is a part of, because it should be a part of something bigger, which is interesting. Okay. Let's obviously run neofetch. And you can see when we run it, it says, you know, it doesn't have that. It had that config. Oh, when we ran it as not user Thomas, we had that odd config issue, or config, profile config. Yeah, so right here, we ran neofetch and it said, cannot access directory.config, user bin neofetch, config neofetch, config conf doesn't exist. And we know that there's this persistent environment variable right here. So this is quite interesting. So the first thing I kind of want to know is, okay, well, what's this config file that's being referenced right here? Let's find out. So I just opened up a separate window here, and we're going to go ahead and check out this config file, which I'm not totally sure where it is. User bin neofetch, and then it looks for the config file .config. So like in the root directory? No. Oh yeah. Okay. Or sorry, in our not our root directory, our user directory. And obviously there's the user.txt like, so let's go ahead and look in .config, neofetch, config.conf. Okay, so let's see what the deal is here. So this file is so far mean nothing to me. Let's just see what the header is on this file. Okay, so you can see it's well, it has functions. So we have this config file, and can we write to this config file? Nope. We can certainly read to it though. Wait a sec. No, we do. We can totally write to it. So if we write to this, then is neofetch going to just simply call and execute it? I'm not too sure. It's an interesting question. Let's find out here by just going echo exec bin we'll do bin chi, and then we'll just pop this into our target, which is config. Neofetch and what was it? Config dot conf, I think it was. Config dot conf. So echo our shell and then pop it out on the other side here. Okay. It says no such file or directory, which is interesting, and I think this is probably because, oh, I see, yeah, no, I'm just confused and doing this wrong and overthinking. So what we want to do is actually say well, I guess we just, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm very confused here. I was overthinking this, trying to talk and type and think what to do next at the same time. There we go. So we've now written into our config.conf. So we could just say, let's run neofetch and see if our profile is now going to be executed. So our shell changed to a bash shell, which is awesome. And we can see that kind of worked, but it's not executing as root. I'm just thinking here, this is tricky. So if we run sudo l again, we can run neofetch as user. So I think we would really just go sudo user bin neofetch, and then that gets us. And I think those backslashes are for preventing some type of trailing command or something. So we're still Thomas. So let's actually take a look at the config file. Oh no, we have a bad shell. That's never good. Okay. Oh no, we don't. So I don't see our information in here. Yeah, so let's try this again. I wonder if, so I think let's just go echo execute bin execute bash config.conf. And so then let's see if it actually, I mean, I guess it works because there we go. So now we'll go sudo user bin neo fetch, and we're still user Thomas. Well, what we do know is that sudo is also holding a persistent environment variable. So what if we could make this environment variable our config file and the command to run? And you can do that with an environment variable. So we can say so first let's call our environment variable xdg underscore config underscore home, and we'll say equals, I think this is what they did in the example that we saw. They went equals root directory config neo fetch, no, config sudo neo fetch. I don't think that worked, and it looks like it didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna try this again here, but I'm wondering if I have to be a little quicker, so I'm just gonna, I pre-typed out the commands, I'm gonna copy and paste them. And my hope is this will actually work properly. Whoops, that doesn't make sense. That's a non-existent directory. Okay. There we go. And now we call and define and run our environment variable. Run ID. I don't think this worked though. And I'm thinking we might actually have to drop down a directory here into the Thomas directory. Now let's try copying these commands again and seeing if this works. Sure hope it does. So this is our execute a bash shell into our target location. Okay. We assume that works. Now we call the environment variable and have it execute from within. Oh, I think this worked. And there it is, it works. So there you have it. We have user root. Boy, that was sure a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and jump in our Discord and join our Hack the Box community. We'd love to have you. See everyone in the next video. Happy hacking, or hack the boxing.